Hi there, and welcome back to It's Not Just Dogs, the place to be if you love animals, dogs, and the planet. I'm Deborah, and this is Boss, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how I switched Boss's raw diet, which I absolutely loved, to something that would be easier to prepare, still healthy, and something that he would really like. Now, the research, let me just say, it was hard. So, for the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, join me on the other side. What is the difference between pet grade and human grade meat? It can be minor or they can be huge. Some manufacturers use quality the same as you find in your food. Others do not. Some pet quality pet foods contain ingredients most would never consider feeding their pet. And to add insult to injury, the pet food label gives little indication which grade quality the manufacturer used. The FDA has final rule on pet food ingredients, labeling, manufacturing, and nutritional content. But they rely on the AAFCO, American Association of Feed Control Officials, an independent advisory organization made up of state and federal agricultural department representatives and pet food industry members to develop nutrient standards and ingredient definitions for all feeds. The FDA flatly accepts all pet food recommendations from the AAFCO. Even though many food experts feel the AAFCO regulations are dated and cater to the best interest of the industry instead of the best interest of the pet. Now, to complicate things even one step further, not every U.S. state accepts the AAFCO regulations. Basically, what we have here is a complete lack of consistency. So what about antioxidants? I hear really good things about antioxidants and how good they are for dogs. Let's see here. Antioxidants like fruit in kibble or canned food. Dr. Becker, this woman I love. She's really awesome. She's a vet and she is really good. Cranberries in dog and cat food. In truth, despite pet food company marketing claims, cranberries in all their various forms aren't of any particular benefit to dogs or cats because they won't eat enough of them in sufficient quantities. When it comes to canned pet food and kibble, negligible amounts may be added to allow the manufacturer to market the product as I described earlier for the purpose of appealing to groups of pet parents. I read about this. Rodney Habib, great video on the ingredients and some of his pet peeves about how they put a huge picture of fruit and vegetables when really there's just a tiny little bit in there. So let's talk about carbs. So I hear some bad things about carbs for dogs. But once they find their way into your dog's digestive system, more or less all dietary carbohydrates get converted to a single kind of sugar molecule called glucose. How many carbs should a dog eat? If you're going to use the ancestral diet, and I'm a big fan of the ancestral diet, around 14% carbs should be part of the total diet. But today's dry dog food contains somewhere between 46 and 74% carbohydrates. Yikes. So according to the dog food advisor, dogs don't need corn, they don't need wheat, they don't need barley, potatoes either. Yet surprisingly, they're the dominant thing found in dry dog food. Now this makes sense. They're abundant, durable, which equates to a long shelf life, essential to kibble making process. I guess that makes sense. You gotta make some kind of bready thing. And cheaper per calorie than protein. So how is kibble made anyway? So it says that even premium kibble and grain-free organic kibbles are made with an expanding and extrusion process. Carbs and filler are mixed together to produce a dough. It's placed in a machine. Hot water, steam is applied, extremely high temperatures and pressure. It cooks the dough. Sharp knife cuts off the pieces at the end, and voila, kibble bits. Kibble is passed under a heavy-duty dryer, removes any moisture left in the food. Now, by this time, it's not too tasty. Let me see. Where was I? Food's all dehydrated. It's been passed through the dryer, through the everything. Now there's probably very little nutrition left. And on top of that, to make things worse, the dogs are not going to find it appealing. So, whoever came up with the idea to use a fire hose to spray the orange cheese powder on Cheetos. So animal fats are sprayed on the final product to make them palatable to dogs, even after sitting on the shelf for years, which makes sense. I mean, I guess vitamins are also added to try and make up for what was lost during the cooking process. Color sometimes, preservatives, sprayed on the top. Ooh, what counts as a meat source in dog food can range. Whole ground carcasses can be used. Animals can include those that are sick, diseased, and dying. Animal byproducts such as grease and feathers are processed in the same facilities as the meat. It'd be pretty easy for that to cross-contaminate. Vegetables are usually limited to whatever's cheapest, and all those antioxidant omega-3s won't survive the extrusion. Unstated vitamin sources are often a sign that synthetic vitamins are used, typically sourced from China. Oh yes, cancer in dogs. I really have heard about cancer rates increasing in dogs. Some say it's true, some say it's not. Pretty typical all across the internet. Whatever you see, there's somebody who has a different opinion, and that's a good thing because we all have to make our own decisions. But Dr. Becker, again, I really love Dr. Becker, and she says because of the heat process, there are 2 cancer-causing carcinogens that are created from all the heat. So the heat and proteins creates heterocyclic amines, and they're cancer-causing, known to be. And then starch, the what is that? Acrylamines? Acrylamines, yeah. Both are supposedly cancer-causing, and in small amounts. But you know, it's like she says, and it makes a lot of sense. Most of our pets, including mine, have been fed a kibble or a dry dog food that was made with the extrusion process in small amounts for their entire life. So, cancer-causing carcinogens. Oh, I'll tell you, it's been a very long week. Obviously, I am not a vet, not a pet dietitian, or none of the above. I'm really just sort of like you. I have had a lot of animals. I've loved them all. I do dog sit, and I thought I knew quite a bit about dog food and dogs, but you know, the dog food business has exploded, and it's a huge subject. So I did way more than a couple of days worth of research, and the more I researched, it seemed like the more confused I got. But I think in the end, all of the best that we can do as dog parents, if we don't want to go to school and be whatever, is find 2 or 3 people or sources of information that we truly trust to help us make the decisions. And then of course consider our dogs. They're all different, they're no 2 alike, and they all have different needs. But the 2 people that I ultimately found to be the most helpful for me was of course Dr. Becker and Habib. I think his name is Rodney Habib. I think I mispronounced it earlier, sorry. He also, I've watched a ton of his videos, and wow, is he knowledgeable. So those 2 people have kind of finalized my decision on Boss. This is part 1 of a 2-part series. It was way too much information for just one video. So I'm going to end it now, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe if you did, and next week sometime I'll have the tail end of this and tell you how I ultimately made my decision, what I decided. I can't wait to share it with you. So have a great weekend, stay safe, and see you next time.